6 p.m. here in Cairo. Time for the news bulletin. My name is Aman Mukhtar. We start our news with the headlines. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli stresses that Egypt will never neglect its right in Nile waters and will safeguard this right. Palestinian Health Ministry says 123 people killed in Israeli massacre in Gaza in last 24 hours. And Lebanon's president tells top Iranian officials that one state holds arms, no outside interference. Welcome back. The news in detail. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli on Wednesday stressed that Egypt will never neglect its right in Nile waters and will continue to safeguard this right. Addressing a press conference following the weekly cabinet meeting, the Prime Minister asserted that Egypt backs development efforts in Nile Basin countries. The Prime Minister said measures to enact the recently approved old rental law are underway and a website will be launched in October to deal with dwellers at old rent contracts units. The cabinet meeting also probed results of Jordanian-Egyptian Joint Committee meetings in Amman, among several other political, economic and social topics. The National Egyptian Authority have announced that a runoff in the 2025 Senate elections will take place on August the 25th and 26th for Egyptians expatriates and on the 27th and 28th in the governorates of غربية, Bani Suef, El-Wadi, El-Gadid, Luqsor and Ismailia. Announcing the results of the first round of the vote on Tuesday, the chairman of the National Election Authority, Councillor Hazem Badawi, announced that the National United List, the only closed party list in the race, secured victory in the elections. The 2025 Senate elections took place under full judicial supervision earlier this month. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Expatriate Affairs, Badr Abdelati, reiterated that Rafah crossing with the Gaza Strip is open from the Egyptian side, saying that Israel must assume its responsibility as the currently occupying force in Gaza to allow flow of humanitarian aid into the enclave through the Palestinian side. During an interview with representatives of foreign media outlets accredited in Egypt, Abdelati reiterated Egypt's categorical rejection to an expansion of military operations in Gaza and to any attempts to evacuate Palestinians from the land. The minister also reviewed Egypt's ongoing agreements to host the international conference for early recovery and construction of the Gaza Strip immediately after a ceasefire is reached. Minister Abdelati held a phone call on Wednesday with Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan. Minister Abdelati have confirmed the joint position that rejects an Israeli plan to occupy the entire Gaza Strip and continue the war against the Palestinian people. The top diplomat reviewed Egypt's continuous efforts along with Qatar and the U.S. to reach a deal to end the bloodshed in Gaza that includes freeing Palestinian prisoners and Israeli hostages. For the 14th consecutive day, Egyptian humanitarian aid convoy Zed El-Izza to Gaza entered on Wednesday from Egyptian Rafah border crossing. The convoy will enter from Abu Salem crossing, carried thousands of tons of food, relief aid and medical supplies. At least 12 Palestinians were killed in Israeli bombardment across the Gaza Strip on Wednesday, while the Health Ministry said 123 people were killed in the last 24 hours. The Palestinian Wafa news agency said 7 people were killed, including 5 children from the same family in Israeli planes attack at their tent near the university campus in Gaza Strip. 5 others were killed by Israeli forces' fire as they awaited aid in parts of the central Deir al-Balah city. 8 more people, including 3 children, have died of starvation and malnutrition in the past 24 hours, taking the total death to 235, including 106 children. Palestinian officials said an Israeli settler have shot and killed a Palestinian in the occupied West Bank on Wednesday. The Palestinian Health Ministry said in a statement that Thamin Khalil Rida was killed by settler gunfire in the town of Doma, south of Nablus, and the killed person killing marks the latest fatal incident in the Palestinian territory, where aggressive acts by Israeli settlers and soldiers have surged since the start of the Gaza war. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun told a senior Iranian official on Wednesday that no group in Lebanon is permitted to bear arms or rely on foreign backing. This came during a meeting in Beirut with Ali Larjani, Secretary of Iran's top security body, who is visiting Lebanon after Iran earlier expressed opposition to the Lebanese government plan to disarm Hezbollah. Aoun warned against foreign interference in Lebanon's internal affairs, saying the country was open to cooperation with Iran, but only within the bounds of national sovereignty and mutual respect. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Expatriate Affairs Badr Abdelati held 2 phone calls with his Iranian counterpart Abbas Araghchi and with Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency Rafael Grossi. Minister Abdelati stressed the significance of adhering to diplomatic paths and also creating suitable climate to resume cooperation with the UN atomic watchdog, with the aim of achieving regional stability. The 2 top diplomats further probed the latest developments in the Iranian nuclear file and means to restore confidence between the IAEA and Tehran. Britain, France and Germany had told the United Nations that they are ready to reimpose UN-mandated sanctions on Iran over its nuclear program if no diplomatic solutions is found by the end of August. The letter to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and the UN Security Council said that the 3 powers are committed to use all diplomatic tools at their disposal to ensure Iran does not develop a nuclear weapon unless Tehran meets the deadline. Last month, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi sent a letter to the UN saying that the European countries did not have the legal right to restore sanctions. Ukrainian and European leaders pursued last-ditch efforts on Wednesday to persuade U.S. President Donald Trump not to strike a Ukrainian peace deal with Russian Vladimir Putin that could sell out Kyiv's interests. Trump will speak to Putin about the Ukrainian war on Friday in Alaska. In a day of intense diplomacy, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky flew into Berlin for German-hosted virtual meetings with European leaders and Trump. Zelensky and most of his European counterparts have asserted that a lasting peace cannot be secured without Ukraine at the negotiating table. And back home, as Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli attended the funeral of the late former Supply and Domestic Trade Minister Ali Musalhi. The prayers was held at the police mosque in 6th of October City. The Prime Minister paid condolences to Musalhi's family. The cabinet earlier praised the deceased, pressing gratitude and appreciation for his dedication, years long career and national service. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli on Wednesday praised late novelist Sanallah Ibrahim, who died earlier today, saying he left a rich literary legacy. The Prime Minister said that the novelist was an icon for Arab creativity and a pioneer of contemporary Egyptian literature. The National Media Authority also extended condolences over the death of the novelist. Authority head writer Ahmed El-Mislimani said the great literary has been one of Egypt's leading soft power figures. Now with economy news, as Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli told and said today, witnessed the signing ceremony of a foundation contract of a factory affiliated to the Sicilian Group, a major Chinese tire manufacturer in the Suez Canal Economic Zone. The factory will be a global facility which is to be carried out on 3 phases and to be located in the premises of the Chinese industrial developer Tidda, Egypt, inside the integrated Al Sukhna zone of the Suez Canal Economic Zone in order to tune the $1 billion investment value. The Prime Minister highlighted that Egypt is going forward with the implementation of its national strategy for localizing the auto-making industry and its relevant manufacturing chains. Egypt's market closed lower today, aimed amid sell-offs by local and Arab corporations and Arab investors against purchases by foreign corporations and local investors. The market capital of listed companies lost 6 billion Egyptian pounds, crossing 2.5 trillion pounds amid an average net transactions of 57.6 billion. The benchmark index EGX 30 dipped 0.4% above the 35,855 point mark. The equal weighted indices EGX 70 and EGX 100 fell 0.3% and 0.4% respectively. The International Energy Agency said today that world oil supply will rise more rapidly and expected this year, the next, as Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, Russia and other allies, known as OPEC Plus, decided to further increase output. The IAEA have said in a monthly report that supply will rise by 2.5 million barrels per day in 2025 and by a further 1.9 million BPD next year, up from 2.1 million BPD previously forecast. The agency also expected world oil demand to rise by 680,000 PBD this year and 700 million next year, both down 20,000 PBD from the previous forecast. Egypt's under-19 handball team became the last qualified team for the 2025 IHF Men's Youth World Championship after With this, we come to the end of the news bulletin. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.